Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome to our Empower One housing seminar with Ohio Housing Finance Agency and friends. As promised, we are here. We are live. We're going to get you all the knowledge that you need today. I'm RoDigga from Z1079.
Yes, and I am Bijou Star from 93.1 WZAK.
Yes, and tonight, just want to remind you all that we have some really great information, of course, but we also have some giveaways. So we're going to hook a lot of people up. So make sure you are present. You must be present during the broadcast to win. We have money, we have a sectional, we have a washer and dryer, so many great things to add to your new home once you get that information tonight. So again, be present because you'll have a chance to win all of that.
Yes. All right. Like Rose said, make sure you're locked in and tell everybody you know to join us as well because they can win those prizes and get good information. So, I mean, it's a win-win. Okay. So, let's get right into our amazing program tonight. All right. So, Radio One and the Ohio Housing Finance Agency are back. Yes, we're back with our annual EmpowerONE housing event. Today, you will hear about what will help you for our first-time home buyers. Okay. So, home ownership do's and don'ts and owning a home and how you can own a home for less than what you pay in rent. That's big right there. You also don't want to miss our presentations from our special sponsors, the Cleveland Realtors Association and Third Federal Savings and Loan. And finally, don't miss out on your chance to win cash money. Yes. Okay. I told you we got those prizes. The washer dryer row told you about. Also a brand new sectional. And that's not it. It's going to be a whole lot more goodies. All right. We're giving them out all night long. So get the tools you'll need and then find out how you could qualify for help with all of your down payment costs and closing costs from the Ohio Housing Finance Agency. That's all happening to you and for you tonight.
Absolutely. So please, like she said, invite your friends, tell them to log on right now, share this because it's great information. And we're going to jump right into it. So now for our first presenter of the evening, please welcome John Dewey, our friend. He's going to talk about the steps to home ownership and down payment assistance.
Hello, this is Jonathan Dewey with the Ohio Housing Finance Agency. And today we're going to go over our homebuyer programs and down payment assistance and also cover the basic steps to purchasing a house. So let's get started. So 3 important items to know about OHFA, the Ohio Housing Finance Agency. Our funds are always available. Our homeownership programs can be used anywhere in the state of Ohio, and not all lenders, banks, or mortgage companies are OHFA participating lenders. So our participating lenders can be found at myohiohome.org. Again, that's myohiohome.org. And we have a list of about 150 mortgage lenders that participate in our programs all over the state of Ohio. So how do our homebuyer programs work? Well, one, the homebuyer contacts an OHFA-approved lender for an eligibility review. So again, that's on our website, myohiohome.org. You'll find one of those lenders. And then if you qualify, you're just going to choose a program that best fits your needs. And then you're going to go through the normal home buying process with a real estate agent. And they'll help you search for homes and explain all the other major steps of purchasing a home. So what types of loans does OHFA, the Ohio Housing Finance Agency, participate in? Well, the 4 big ones are conventional, FHA, VA, and USDA loans. A majority of our loans are conventional and FHA, but we do sometimes get VA, which are veterans, and USDA, which is if you're buying a house in a more rural area. And here are the down payment requirements for the loan types. So for a conventional loan, our minimum down payment is 3%. For FHA loans, it's 3.5%. And then USDA and VA are 0 down loans. And you're probably thinking, well, if there's 0 down loans, why would somebody need down payment assistance? But you can actually use their down payment assistance to pay for the closing cost for a home buyer, even if they're doing a 0 down loan. So keep that in mind that if you're doing a USDA or VA loan, which are 0 down loans, you could still use our down payment assistance to help pay for the remaining closing costs. We have 2 main umbrellas of programs. We have our first-time homebuyer umbrella, which is for those that are first-time buyers. And underneath the umbrella here, you don't need to worry about memorizing these memorizing these programs. I'll come back to this here in a second and go over these programs, but we have our Your Choice Down Payment Assistance, Grants or Grads, Ohio Heroes, and the Mortgage Tax Credit. And then if you're not a first-time home buyer, we still have programs to help those home buyers also, and they can do our Your Choice Down Payment Assistance and Ohio Heroes. So there's two main eligibility requirements, and there are additional eligibility requirements, but there are two main eligibility requirements. And the big one here is our income limits, which are listed on myohiohome.org. Just go to our website and choose the county that you're looking to purchase a home in, and then the income limits will show up for whatever county you're looking to purchase that house in. And then the other one here is our credit score. So the minimum credit score for FHA loans is 650. For conventional USDA and VA, it's 640. Again, FHA loans, it's 650. And then conventional USDA and VA is 640. Those are the minimum credit scores that have to be met to qualify for our loan types. So our most popular program is the 5% Your Choice Down Payment Assistance. This is 5% of the purchase price that can be used towards the down payment, closing costs, and any other prepaid expenses incurred prior to closing. Now, if a home buyer uses our down payment assistance, they will have a slightly higher interest rate, and they cannot sell or refinance their home for 7 years. Otherwise, they'd have to pay back the entire down payment assistance. So I'll say it again, it's 5% down payment assistance, a slightly higher interest rate, and they cannot sell or refinance the home for 7 years. Otherwise, they would have to pay back the entire down payment assistance. So let's take a look at an example. An FHA loan, which is a minimum 3.5% down payment requirement, and they're doing a purchase price of $100,000. And a home buyer is using 5% down payment assistance, so that's $5,000. We'll subtract the down payment and closing costs. We're going to do 3.5% or $3,500 towards the down payment, 1.5% towards the closing costs, so $1,500, and the approximate out-of-pocket funds for down payment and closing costs would be about $3,000. Now, the closing costs are going to differ depending on which lender a home buyer is using, so keep that in mind. Whatever lender you might be using, your closing costs could be a little bit more, could be a little bit less. Everybody knows somebody that's a hero, somebody that works in a critical occupation. And this is for those that work in those critical occupations, they get a slightly lower interest rate than our standard mortgage interest rates. And so this is for full-time employees in the following professions: active duty military, veterans, members of the reserve components, and that includes a surviving spouse, police officers, firefighters, volunteer firefighters, EMTs, and paramedics, physicians, nurse practitioners, nurses, and under that umbrella is RNs, LPNs, and STNAs, and then pre-K through 12 teachers, administrators, and counselors. Again, they get a slightly lower interest rate. It's an awesome interest rate if somebody qualifies under the HEROES program. And we often have home buyers use the Ohio HEROES loan, even if they're not using our down payment assistance, because it offers that lower interest rate. Now we have graduation season coming up here soon where people will be graduating from college, and we have the program that's called Grants for Grads. So again, this is 5% down payment assistance, and this is for those that have graduated college within the last 48 months or 4 years with an associate's, bachelor's, master's, or doctorate degree. And as long as they stay within Ohio for the first 5 years, even if they sell or refinance the property, they do not have to pay back the down payment assistance grant. So again, with Grants or Grads, as long as they stay within Ohio for the first 5 years, they do not have to pay back the Grants or Grads. And this is a huge benefit in our current market. Think of how quickly home values have been increasing. If a home buyer decided to stay in their home for just a couple of years and they decided to sell and move on to another property within Ohio, they would not have to pay back this grants for grads. So this is a huge, huge benefit to anybody that will qualify for the 5% grants for grads. And we'll look at another example. So again, an FHA loan with a 3.5% down payment requirement. And the purchase price here is $100,000 and 5% down payment assistance. So again, that's $5,000. And we're going to subtract the down payment and closing costs. So again, 3.5% towards the down payment or $3,500, 1.5% towards the closing costs or $1,500, and the approximate out-of-pocket funds here for the grants or grads FHA loan would be about $3,000. If you're a first-time home buyer, there's a really awesome program called the First-Time Buyer Mortgage Tax Credit. And this is a $2,000 maximum credit per year for the entire life of the mortgage when using an OFA loan. And the intent of the tax credit is to help home buyers afford home ownership by putting more of their own money back in their pocket and paying less federal income taxes. Now, this is really important here, and I have it circled in green and have it in bold, is that you must request this tax credit when you're applying for the mortgage loan. So if somebody already went through the home buying process, already got their loan and closed on a house, they would not be able to get this tax credit. They have to apply for it when they're going through the loan process. And I'll give you an example if a home buyer uses mortgage tax credit. So if a home buyer made $40,000 in income and they owed approximately $3,000 in federal income taxes, and they're getting this tax credit for $2,000. So $3,000 is what they owe. They're getting a $2,000 credit. So $3,000 minus $2,000. That means their total federal income taxes now due would be $1,000. And if a home buyer claimed this credit for the first 10 years on their mortgage, that would be a savings of $20,000 in federal income taxes that they would not have to pay. So this is a huge benefit to a home buyer. And the reason why I put 10 years here is that the average time that a home buyer stays in their house before selling and moving on to that next house is about 10 years. Now, if a home buyer stayed in the home for the entire 30-year mortgage, they could claim this tax credit for the entire life of the loan. Now, their tax credit will decrease over time. It won't be the full $2,000 because they'll be paying less mortgage interest as they go throughout the loan process over the years. But for about the first 10 to 15 years, they'll be getting the most amount of the tax credit that they could possibly get during that time frame. So it's a huge benefit to each and every first-time home buyer that would qualify for the first-time buyer mortgage tax credit. And then finally, Next Home. This is for those that are not first-time home buyers. So if you're watching this and you don't meet our first-time buyer criteria, don't worry, we still have other programs for those that are not first-time home buyers. So with Next Home, you can still get 2.5% your choice down payment assistance, and almost all of the eligibility criteria for Next Home is the same as the first-time home buyer program. Here's a really helpful video that's listed on our website, myohiohome.org. Again, that's myohiohome.org. And it's on the landing page, and it talks about the basic steps of working with the Ohio Housing Finance Agency, but the basic steps also of purchasing a home. So it's about a 2-minute video. You can also search for it on YouTube if you just type in Ohio Housing Finance Agency, what to expect. That video will come up on YouTube, and you can watch that video there too. Now let's talk about the basic steps to purchasing a home. So here are the 3 steps to get you on the path to homeownership. So go to our website, again, myohiohome.org, click on Getting Started, and then click on Find a Lender. So you're going to get pre-qualified with that OFA approved lender, and they're going to let you know if you qualify for one of our loans. If you do qualify, you're going to get that pre-qualification letter, and you're going to give that to your real estate agent, and that shows that you are a serious buyer and that you have the financial capability to purchase a house. And then third, You're just going to search for a home with a real estate agent, and a real estate agent can explain the entire home buying process in great detail and help you throughout that process. Now, if you have any other questions about our programs or the process, don't hesitate to contact me. I'll have my information up at the very end. But first, if you needed help improving your credit, so maybe you just watch this and you're thinking, I don't have the minimum credit score to qualify for those loan types. What do I do to improve my credit score? My suggestion would be to go to HUD.gov. That's HUD.gov, and click on resources, and then click on HUD approved counseling agencies. And they can give you some information on tips to improve your credit score. So thank you so much for watching this today. Again, here's my contact info. Again, my name is Jonathan Dewey, and here's my email address, jdewey@ohiohome.org, if you have any specific questions about our home buyer program.
Thank you so much, John. That was so much great information. Shout out to Ofa. We have a giveaway, but I just want to remind you guys that if you have any questions for John, if you have any questions throughout the entire event tonight, please feel free to type them in the comment section and we will get them brought to the presenters. So before we move on, let's shout out our very first $250 winner, Bijou. And that is, you hear my noise, Angela Ross. Congratulations, $250, and you do still have a chance to win. We have more money, we have that sectional, and we have a washer and dryer. You have to be present to win, so make sure you stick around. And why would you not? There's just so much good information. So now, the questions again, if you have any, please put them in the comment section. We have Tamika Chapman. She said, "Can you use more than one grant, John?"
So you can't use more than one down payment assistance program at the same time, but you can combine multiple programs together. For example, if you're doing our down payment assistance and our mortgage tax credit together, you can combine those. So there's actually a bunch of different ways you can combine the programs together, but you can't combine two different down payment assistance programs together.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you, Tamika, for the question.
All right. Do we have any others? I don't think we have any other questions right now, Ro.
Yeah.
No other questions?
All right. Well, thank you so much for letting me present. I appreciate it. And again, our website, myohiohome.org, you can find all the lenders to get pre-qualified for our home buyer programs on our website.
Perfect. See, going across the bottom of the screen, everyone, myohiohome.org. Thank you so much, John Dewey. You give us so much great information every year. So hopefully that someone can use this, and hopefully they'll be buying a home very soon. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Ro. So we're going to keep moving along with our next presentation. All right. So looks like we will shout out to our winner that we had before, but our next segment, Ro, let me let you handle that.
Yes. So for our second presenter of the night, please welcome Derek Crudy as he talks about building credit for future success.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Derek Crudy. I'm here from Third Federal Savings and Loan, and I'm here to talk to you guys a little bit about building credit for future success, and then also some of the products and programs that Third Federal has going on and everything here. Just a quick overview again. I'm going to be going over some of the things that can help you establish and maintain credit, and then some of the programs that we have here at Third Federal for those that are looking to buy a home, those that are looking to improve a home, and or those that are looking for down payment assistance. Starting off here, just kind of giving you guys 10 money management pitfalls. The biggest thing that you guys want to take from this is simply that, you really want to create a budget not only for your spending habits, but also for your saving habits and everything here. You really want to take a big dive into your own personal finances because everybody's budget is different. And when it comes to home ownership, what you may think is the appropriate amount for you to spend may be different than somebody else's. And so we just want to make sure that you take a hard look at that and make sure that you go over that and have that in your mind. Essentially, again, here, guys, the 5 components of a personal money management plan. You want to set goals. In order to have those goals be met, you got to create a spending plan. You got to create a savings plan. Again, track your spending and everything on a monthly basis. And you also want to calculate your income on a monthly basis. So make sure you know what you're bringing in. I would look at it from a after taxes type of situation, so that way you can have a better idea as to what you're bringing in. So why do we want credit? Why do we want to do this? Unfortunately, not everybody has the money sitting in a checking savings or anything to potentially buy a car or buy a home. So you need some credit and some flexibility to be able to do those things. Also, employers tend to run your background and potentially look into your credit. And if you have a higher credit score for insurance purposes, you're going to get a lower rate and everything there. So what is a credit score? A credit score is essentially a computer-generated number that's derived from your willingness to repay debt. It is reported by the 3 credit bureaus. It goes from 0 to 850. And just to show you just kind of where you're looking and where you fall on the screen as to what's good, what's fair, what's excellent, and everything along those lines. This does change over time. So again, please make sure that you're making your payments on time and everything. So what is derived into your credit score? The biggest thing is your payment history, making sure you're making your payments on time, everything from there. The second biggest thing is the amounts owed on those on those debts. The higher that you owe versus the amount that you were given, it could impact your score and everything. The lower that you start to owe on those things, the higher your score is going to go. Credit history, that is meaning how long you've had credit established. So, if it's been 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, the longer you have it, the better your score is going to become. And then the other two, obviously open up new accounts and the types of credit that you have. We'll dig that a little bit deeper into that. So what makes an individual financially healthy? Essentially someone that doesn't have any issues, any repayment issues, anything along those lines. Keeping their debt utilization to 33% and under. So what I mean there is, if you have a $1,000 limit, keeping that essentially that amount that you've borrowed to $300 or less. That you have some savings set up and set aside for emergencies and or future goals. You have stable, strong income and everything, whether it be from employment or Social Security, something along those lines. If for some reason you don't have credit established, you can always potentially look at starting that with a secured credit card, or potentially looking at, going to a department store or something along those lines and starting and establishing credit there. So what is a charge account or a credit card and everything? Essentially, it is a revolving account, meaning that if you use some of it and then pay some of it back, you get to use that money again. It typically has a credit agreement with it. It has monthly due dates, minimum payments and everything that are on there, but it'll keep going as long as the account is open. It doesn't have a set start date and a set end date. It just keeps revolving, and depending on the amount that you borrowed, that's what it has on there. Whereas with an installment loan, it typically comes with a fixed payment. This is more your home loans, your car loans, maybe even student loans, but it has a set start date and a set end date. And then there might be some grace periods in between there for your payments and everything. So just keep that in mind. Credit bureaus, ladies and gentlemen, there are 3 of them. They do compete with each other. They are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Things can differ on these, so just keep in mind that you do have 3 credit bureaus, and we suggest that you pull your credit report once a year to see what's going on with those credit reports. Where you can do that is if you go to annualcreditreport.com. The other places where a lot of people can see their credit score and or see their credit history, if you go to Credit Karma, it's not always 100% accurate, but just keep in mind that's something that you have. Or the other option is to go to myfico.com, and that should give you a pretty decent credit score as well. Credit reports. This is information that's reported by your creditor. Excuse me. It shows, what on a monthly basis, how much you've that you have in debt, if you're making your monthly payments, your highest balance, the balance you owe, all those sorts of things. What it'll also have, and I apologize, I'm still a little under the weather. What it'll also have is your name, your address, potentially your employer, any public records. So if you had a bankruptcy, foreclosure, any collections, all that stuff is gathered, and it follows you essentially for your life, because it's gathered with your social security number and everything in mind. So just keep all that in mind. That doesn't mean that if you've had bad credit in the past that you will continue to have bad credit. So just work on it and you can get it moving forward. And then we just wanted to show you briefly what a credit report looks like and everything there. Now to get into what Third Federal has to offer and what we have going on here. So for purchases, we have our Home Ready loan. This allows borrowers to buy a home with as little as 3% down. To make math smooth and easy for you, if you're looking to buy a $100,000 home, that means you have to bring $3,000 to the table for down payment. Now that down payment can come from gifts, grants, down payment assistance. It doesn't necessarily have to come from your own funds. It comes in a 15 and 30-year product. We don't have any points on that, meaning you don't have to pay anything additional to get a lower interest rate or anything on there. The max loan amount for this is $250,000. The minimum loan amount is $10,000. I'm going to say that again for those of you that probably don't believe me, but we will actually go down to a minimum loan amount of $10,000. There's income or geographic restrictions that can apply. For more information on that, just reach out to our customer service department, which I'll let you know the number at the end here, and or reach out to your branches and everything too. It does come with a lower interest rate than our standard regular mortgage. It's about 0.5% lower right now. We do offer free pre-approvals. With that being said, it is a fully underwritten pre-approval. So we will collect your income information. We will look at your credit and your assets to come up with an overall decision on the file. And then there's an education requirement to it. I will let you know about that here in a second. If you do have a home and you need to do some repairs and everything to it, or need to do some rehab, we came out with a new product called our Fixer Upper Loan. The interest rate on that is 2.99%, and that is fixed for the life of the loan. The loan is 21 years in term. There's a 12-year draw period on it, meaning you can use the funds for 12 months. And then you have a 20-year repayment history or 20-year payment period after that. There's no prepayment penalties on any of our mortgages here. So if you pay it off sooner than the 20 years, you're more than welcome to do that. That's not a problem. Minimum loan amount's $1,000. Maximum loan amount's $9,900. The minimum payment that we receive on a monthly basis is $10. And if you were to take out that full $9,900, the maximum payment that you would have is $55 roughly a month. There's no closing costs, no annual fee. And again, income and geographic restrictions could apply. So let's get to the fun stuff here, which is down payment assistance. So Third Federal has two different down payment assistance sources here. Now, just to be clear, you can use one or the other. You just can't combine both here. With that being said, the first one is our Home at Last down payment assistance. It's $3,000. It does come with income or geographic restrictions, and it is given to you as a grant. So there's no recapture to it. There's no amount of time that you have to stay in the home in order to forgive all that money or anything. It is literally given to you as a grant, so you can use it towards a closing cost, down payment, whatever you want to use it for. There is an education requirement to it. So you either can attend our Home Today classes, which is a 4-part series that we have on Tuesdays that are over Zoom. There's how you can register and everything for the classes themselves. You can take an online class called the Home View series. The website is right there. You're more than welcome to do that. Or the last thing you can do is you can meet with a HUD certified organization that's approved by Third Federal in order to get that education requirement. So that's the first down payment assistance source that we have. The second one here is our forgivable down payment assistance. It is $10,000. And I repeat that again, that is $10,000 that we are giving out to people It can be used towards your down payment. It can be used towards your closing costs. It can be used towards both. It is truly a forgivable down payment assistance in the fact that there's a 10-year recapture to it. So for each year that you live in the house, $1,000 comes off of it. After 10 years, you don't owe any more money or anything to that. There's 0% interest on it. There's no payments you ever have to make to it. But let's say you sell the house in year 5. At that point in time, then you would have, $5,000 that would be essentially owed to us. That would come out of the proceeds of the sale of the home. Again, there's income or geographic restrictions that apply to this. And then there's an education requirement to that. Either attending our Home Today classes or, again, meeting with a HUD certified counselor. So outside of that, you can use either one of those and everything to get the down payment that you need, and everything from there. Any questions or anything, please feel free to contact our customer care department. The phone number's there, or you can contact your local branches and they'd be more than happy to help you. I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to speak tonight, and looking forward to answering any of your questions.
Thank you so much, Derek and Third Federal Savings and Loans. That was awesome. We have a lot of questions, but we also have some giveaways.
Yes, we do. So I have another $250, and it's going to Marsha Crittenden. Congratulations, Marsha. You're getting $250 cash money. So you know what that means? Y'all can really win. We're giving this money out. We're giving these things out. So make sure you stay locked in with us. You have to be tuned in. So Marsha, I hope you're still out here, okay? So that you can get your money and we don't have to give away to anybody else. All right. And then we also shout out everybody in our comments who's tuned in. Hey, y'all, we are getting all of your questions. A lot of them are coming in, and any of them that were for our segment before, you can definitely send them out to John Dewey, and we'll have his information up there for you to get that to him as well. All right, if you have questions for him about that. But now we're going to actually bring on Jennifer Rogers, who's going to actually help us answer questions about what we just talked about. Hi, Jennifer.
Hey,
Hi, everybody. How's
Hi,
everyone?
We're doing
good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we got a lot of questions, Jennifer. So we're going to just kick it off with our girl, Tamika Chapman. Hey, Tamika. So her question is, if you make less than $50,000, what is the max debt that you should have?
So that question depends on your total amount that you owe. To tell you how much you can afford, it just depends on how you manage your debt. As Derek said, you never want to owe more than 36% of your total gross income. But when you're calculating, we don't live on gross. We live on the net, right? So you want to calculate 36% of your net take home, and you should never owe more than that, including car payment, credit cards, student loans, and the mortgage.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you again, Tamika. Keep the questions coming. We have Gloria up next. She said, what about people with good credit and have a good amount of savings, but low income or fixed income?
Well, we love you. You got good credit. Having savings, you're preparing for homeownership. That is what we're looking for. And so the programs are designed for those that live in geographical areas and who have low income, or they may not make $100,000 a year. So depending on your county, your income is already predetermined. And so we can tell you exactly if you will qualify or not based on where you want to live and your income. So you can contact the number on the screen.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for that question and answer. So the next question, I believe, comes from Anna Indy. I don't think I'm saying your name right. Anna, all right. So is it true that pulling your credit score too frequently lowers your credit score?
Yes and no. If you are applying for credit, we call that a hard pull. That means you're applying for credit cards, you're buying a car, maybe any other type of loans where they pull your credit to extend credit to you. You do not want to do that. If you're pulling your credit yourself on, say, annualcreditreport.com, or you look at your credit report on Credit Karma and those types of apps, then no, that does not negatively impact your credit score. So when you decide to move forward to buy a home, we suggest that you identify not more than 3 financial institutions, okay? And then you contact them to pull your credit for affordability and see if you can get approved, but not more than 3 in one given time.
Gotcha.
Cool. Thank you, Anna. And thank you, Jennifer. Next question is from Michael Crenshaw for OFA lenders. And I'm not sure if this is something you can, but if you can't, will 2 years out of a Chapter 7 be sufficient to qualify for a loan?
And it may be different for OFA, and that question can be directed to Mr. Dewey. But not for conventional lending institutions, usually it's going to be anywhere from 3 to 4 years, and sometimes even longer. You will have to reestablish perfect credit when you're coming out of that bankruptcy or even foreclosure. So you need to demonstrate that the lesson has been learned and that you can pay your bills as expected. Hope is not lost. I won't say that, but you will have probably a little longer term after you're coming out of your Chapter 13 or Chapter 7 before you can actually get a mortgage again. You probably can get a car, you probably can get a credit card, but you may not necessarily get a mortgage.
Good information to have. All right, so on to our next question. This is from Grand Lady. Is there a chance for anyone below 640 to qualify?
Credit scores are a little tricky. So we try to look at the person holistically. And so we look at your credit score. We look at your savings. We look at your work history. So the best thing I could say or suggest is that you reach out to a lending institution or Third Federal, and just ask them to pull your credit, apply for a pre-approval, and they can actually tell you if you can be approved or not. So just based on score alone, there's more to it than just your score. But I will say the higher the score, the stronger, the better, obviously. But I can't say that just because you have a 640, you will not get approved. I can't say that.
Cool. Thank you. And the next question and last for this segment is coming from MG Moore. Can these grants be provided to those who previously purchased a loan but did not utilize these grants? Thank you.
If you're speaking of Third Federal's Home at Last and our forgivable down payment assistance, yes, as long as you're buying a home and you in the geographical area and your income qualifies, yes, you would still be eligible for our down payment assistance program. But if you're looking to buy a home using the OFA program, you would have to direct that question to OFA.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that's it, Jennifer.
That's it. All right. Thanks, everybody. Good luck. Hope to see you all soon.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
All right, so before we keep it moving, we do have another giveaway. Thank you guys so much for staying tuned in. I've seen people comment on Instagram. They taking notes out there. I love it because this is great information. And we're trying to have more first-time home buyers, homeowners, especially in our community. So kudos to you for tapping in tonight. Make sure you share it and stay locked in for more giveaways, because right now we're going to give away that washer and dryer. And that is going out to Nicole Sally. Oh, that's that right? Congratulations, Nicole. Nice wash and dryer in the crib. All right. So definitely kudos to you, and shout out to everybody else tapped in. You still have more opportunities to win, but you got to be present. So definitely stay where you got it. Do we have, okay, yes, so we're moving right along.
Yeah, we gotta move right along. And once again, share this, you guys. Share. Hit the link, share it out to all your friends on your Facebook. Let them know that they can join us today. And we still have more giveaways, more money, more cool things for you, of course, more information. So we're having a good time. We see a lot of y'all in the comments. Shout out to y'all again, too. So, yeah.
Yep. And don't forget to log on to the website to enter as well. All right. Thank you guys so much. Okay. For our next presenter, please welcome Deborah Bonner, president of the Greater Cleveland Realtors Association, as she gives us some history of the Cleveland Realtors Association and the role of the agent.
Hello, my name is Deborah Bonner, president of the Greater Cleveland Realtors Association, a local chapter of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, or as we say, NAREB. NAREB is the oldest minority trade association in the United States. Our organization was founded in 1947, and this is our 75th anniversary, and we will celebrate it later this year in Tampa, Florida, where it all began. So back in 1947, 11 men and 1 woman met to form an organization dedicated to address the need for equal housing opportunities. And over the years, NAREB members have worked tirelessly to win victories such as fair housing laws, and we continue to fight against injustice and discrimination in the housing market. Our mission is democracy in housing, and we also work to increase Black wealth through home ownership. Now, our members are known as realtists, and even though we are primarily minorities, our membership is open to anyone who supports our mission. Our members include all disciplines of the real estate industry, such as real estate agents, brokers, appraisers, mortgage professionals, insurance agents, home inspectors, even investors, and more. Locally, the Greater Cleveland Realtors Association began as the Cleveland Association of Real Estate Brokers in 1948. And there are 7 local chapters in the state of Ohio, in Akron, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Columbus, Dayton, Toledo, and Youngstown, Warren. Even if you're not in the Greater Cleveland area, you can find a local chapter nearby with members that can assist you with your home and property search. Our members understand the local neighborhoods. They have the market knowledge, experience, and resources to best assist you in our community. A realtist will provide you with fair and ethical treatment, along with specific understanding of your needs. For more information, please feel free to contact us on our website at www.clevelandrealtors.org or call us at 216-245-8451. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the role of a real estate agent. Now, it is a very exciting time when you decide to become a homeowner. And there are a lot of things to learn. And a real estate agent can be your tour guide. This is the person who can make that home buying process as stress-free as possible. So how do you find an agent? Well, you can ask for referrals from your friends, family, your coworkers. You can also look online. You could just Google real estate agent near me. Or you can see some yard signs in areas where you would like to live. You could visit a real estate office near a neighborhood where you want to live. And you can even go to an open house. But understand that the agent that you meet at an open house, that agent is the listing agent, and they work for the seller. So you need to find a buyer's agent who will work on your behalf for your best interests. Now, try to interview a few agents and ask them questions such as, how many years have you been in real estate? Are you full-time or part-time? How many homes have you sold in the past year? And what's really important to me, I think, is how do you prefer to communicate? Because if you like to communicate by text and your potential real estate agent doesn't like to text, I don't think that's a good fit. So you want to make sure that you and your agent have a good rapport, and because you're going to be communicating a lot during this home search. So you want to make sure you're on the same page. Now, after you've selected your real estate agent, you all will sit down and have an initial consultation. And you're going to talk about your wants and needs. What kind of house do you want? Do you want a colonial? Do you want a ranch? Do you want 3 bedrooms? How many, what neighborhood do you want to live in? So this conversation will help you find homes that are available that you can view and potentially purchase. Now, of course, I know a lot of people start their search online, and you can feel free to provide your new agent with some of these homes that you have found online. But also remember to please be open to the homes that your agent finds for you, because your agent is the professional in this situation. They're the ones who have the market knowledge, and you have to let them do their job. So you have to be open to things that they present to you. So you may not think that it's something you might like, but you might like it once you see it. And once you find that perfect home after you've done your search and you want to make an offer, your agent will help you prepare a fair offer for that seller. Now, once the seller has received your offer, they can do one of 3 things. They can accept your offer, they can decline your offer, or they can counter your offer. So, of course, we always hope for acceptance, but if they give you a counter offer, at least you're still in the game. And that's where your agent can help you with possibly negotiating. They have that negotiating experience because they've done this before. So that's where a real estate agent also comes in. That can help you as far as working with other people, with other agents, and you can get a positive outcome. Now, once you get that approved, once you come to an agreement and you get an approval, an accepted offer, your agent can assist you with names of other professionals that you might need for the home buying process, such as you'll need a home inspector, you'll need a title company, you'll need an insurance agent, and you might need an appraiser as well. So your real estate agent will help you with that because they have the resources, they have the relationships with people that you need that will help you guide you through this process, and they will get you to the closing table where you get to sign all that paperwork, and then you get your keys to your new home. So remember, don't try to go this alone. This home buying process can be very stressful. It can be you might get overcome and overwhelmed, but your real estate agent will help guide you through the process. They will help you find the right home because they have the market knowledge. They can also be an objective third party because sometimes you might have to make some decisions and your emotions get caught up, and you need somebody that can see the process from the outside, and they can help you make decisions. Also, your agent has that negotiating experience. They know time frames, they know prices, they know comps in the area. So please rely on your real estate agent to help you through that part of the process. And as I mentioned before, your real estate agent has those resources, those relationships with other industry professionals. So our job as real estate agents is to give you peace of mind and to help you find your way home. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Okay, y'all. So before we go on to our next segment, of course, we're trying to give away this money. All right. So our next $250 winner is, drumroll, Dawn Gardner. Hey, congrats, Dawn.
Congratulations.
You just got $250 cash money just for being here and getting information. Okay, who pays you to learn? It's usually the other way around. Okay,
Right.
So okay. All right, y'all. Thank you once again to everybody who has joined in with us, who's tuned in, who are asking questions and interacting. Shout out to you for making the next steps in your home buying journey. Okay, so our next presenter, we would like to introduce Miss Lydia Pope. All right, and Lydia Pope is going to give us some information about home buyer counseling.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lydia Pope. I'm a branch manager of NID Housing Counseling Agency. Been doing counseling for over 17 years in Cleveland and Detroit. NID Counseling Agency, we've been around since 1995. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, means that we offer free counseling to each and every one of you. We have offices all around the country. And as you can see, we have over 60 sites. You can find our housing agency information at www.nidhousing.com. You know, some of the things about housing counseling is whenever we have our home buyer workshops, we talk about housing counseling, fair housing, understanding credit, managing your money, obtaining a mortgage loan, ready to buy a home, and protecting your investments. So we talk about what is housing counseling. We're certified from the Housing of Urban Development, that's HUD. That means that we offer all the services relating to your housing need. And all of the information when we do a one-on-one is personal and confidential. And all of our housing counselors that are HUD approved, we're knowledgeable and we're trained. So people ask, why do you use a housing counselor? You use it because some lenders require down payment or closing cost assistance. Also, you use a housing counselor for interest rate reduction programs, education, understanding, peace of mind. We protect the consumer from all unfair practices. And sometimes we're just a resource center for you. So whenever you're taking or doing housing counseling, in order to get funding of anything, this is the process. You would attend our 2-hour orientation, our 4-hour homebuyer workshop, our 1 to 2 hour individual counseling, and then we will give you your certificate. That way we can work with you one-on-one with your credit, with your budget, and make sure you get all the education that you need. And this is so important as a first-time home buyer. And so I want you to take a snapshot of all the offices that are around. We have the NID Cleveland Pope office. We have the NID Cleveland Stoudemire office. We have the NID Maple Heights Wilson office. And we have the NID Cleveland Heights Valentine office. Take a snapshot of these offices. Give us a call. It's free of charge to get all the education that you need. And guess what? When you're ready to buy a home and you need some money down, we are the housing counselors that will work with you and do your one-on-one so you can get into a home.
Thank you so much, Lydia.
Yeah, good information, Lydia. Thank you.
Yes, a lot of information from both Lydia and Deborah. But before we bring them back to have some questions, and remember, if you guys do have questions, drop them in the comment section. We will get them asked and hopefully answered for you. And then also remember, there's still the sectional that we're giving away. You must be present to win. Hopefully you haven't left, because why would you? There's too much good information, so stay. But right now we're going to give away our very last $250 winner. And that one is going out to Monique Thurman. Congratulations. $250 cash money, richer in your pocket. So thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate y'all. But we have a lot of questions. So let's welcome back Deborah and Lydia. They're going to help us answer these questions that you guys have. Hey, ladies.
Hey.
Oh, and Monique. Monique's here too. Hey, girl.
Hello.
Good. All right, so we got Sherry Fox. She said, if you can't get pre-approved for a loan, will the financial institutions assist in helping on ways to get a pre-approval?
Well, I guess I'll take that one. Well, yes, if you have difficulty, in fact, I tried to help someone today. She told me that she had applied previously to other companies. She applied at a mortgage company, she applied at a credit union, and she was having difficulty. And since she was within the 30-day window that Jennifer mentioned earlier, I did refer her to someone else to try to help her to be able to apply and qualify for a mortgage. So I would always say, don't give up. Just try someone else. You know, you don't have to stop at just one person saying either no or not giving you an answer.
Yeah. And I'd like to just quickly piggyback on that. If you did not get pre-approved or you can't get pre-approved, the best thing to do is to go to any HUD-approved housing counseling agency. What we do is we pull your soft credit report, not your hard. We do the tri-merge, all three bureaus, just so you can see what your credit looks like. So when you get to the mortgage lender, you know where you're at, you know what your score is, and you know what you need to do.
Nice. All right. So we'll go to our next question from Deja Burks. How does the real estate agent get paid? Do they get a percentage of the sale or is it out of pocket?
Oh, okay. Well, normally the real estate agent gets paid at the end of the transaction after everything has been signed off on. When the seller signs a contract with their listing agent, that's where it is decided how much commission is to be paid. And if there are two real estate agents, if there's a listing agent and a buyer's agent, that commission is usually split in half. So the listing agent would get paid and the buyer's agent would get paid, but that happens at the end of the transaction.
Cool. Thank you, Deborah. And thank you, Deja. Next question is from Nicole Stanberry. What is the shortest time possible in closing on a house?
Oh, I will take that one. So I work on the title and closing side of the business. And I tell people that once you have selected your home, once your purchase agreement has been signed and you have a deal, then comes the next step of the process. And how long it takes you to get to the table depends on both the property and the parties. And what I mean by that is part of the functions that we do is we research the title to the property. We look into it. We have to determine what types of liens are on there, make sure that the people selling it are actually the true owners. You guys might have heard of a lot of scams going on out there. So the title research is one aspect of it. Then there's also the aspect of the persons that are involved themselves. Do they have judgments that have to be cleared up? Are they part of a divorce? So how long it takes you to get to the closing table will depend on both characteristics of the property and characteristics of the person. So it typically, and this is definitely typically, takes between 30 and 60 days. I have seen people get to the closing table sooner, and honestly, I've had people get to the closing table much later based on those two things, the character of the property and the character of the individuals, meaning the circumstances surrounding them both.
All right, good information.
Yes.
Now, if you guys have any other questions, please feel free to comment, drop them. We have the minds here with all the info for you. And don't forget, we still have a sectional to give out that is coming up very, very soon, everybody. All right. So definitely stay locked in as we are getting you this info. Plus, we got that sectional. And let me go to the comments. I got to shout out to everybody who's tuned in because you guys have been so supportive of everybody winning too and everything else. So shout out to everybody in our comment section and who are asking questions. All right. Oh, I do see some questions on here. Okay. So Christine says, is the person who is buying a home responsible for the damages from the previous owner?
Well, I guess we all probably can answer that. And I'm not exactly sure what you mean by the damages from the previous owner. So I'm not talking about, if they're talking about damages to the property themselves. I don't know if they're talking about issues with the title, but I will speak from a title standpoint. One of the reasons that we do research the title is we want to make sure that obviously any liens that are on the property are addressed prior to the new owner taking possession of the property and ownership of the property. And again, we want to make sure that everything is clean. What you don't want is a situation where a new owner is walking into a problem. So we try to deal with all of those things from a title perspective, up front. Same thing, I'm sure Debbie will attest to the fact that one of the things that is very important is an inspection, that you get an inspection done of the property, because then you can address anything that may become visible during that inspection. And buying a house is a negotiation. So if you go through the inspection and you find some things, there'll always be something, but what things can you live with? What things do you definitely want to make sure they address? All of that is part of the negotiation process. But that question also definitely points out the fact that you may be desperate and waiving a lot of things. I always encourage everyone, never waive or bypass the inspection, even in an extremely competitive market like this. Because if you are taking the house with some issues, you want to know what you're walking into.
Yeah, definitely.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Good answer.
Jan said, do you counsel people, I hope I said that right, who already have a home but might want to refinance?
Yes, we do. As a HUD approved agency, we counsel our clients. If you own a home, if you're a renter, if you just want the services on credit, budget, financial literacy. So NID, we counsel clients in all facets. So if you're looking to refinance your house and you want to take a look at that, because what we look at is your budget to see where you're at, the interest rate differences, the APR, and to really understand that refinance process. So that's what NID counselors do. We educate you with anything in the real estate field, or even if you just want to get your credit right.
Dope. Thank you.
All right. Let's see. Now, I don't know if I'm saying this name correctly. Well, we'll just do Emily next. So Emily says, Emily actually requested contact information for the housing counseling presenter. So we'll have you give that information. We'll put that information up for you. But now, Kachia, I hope if I'm messing your name up, I'm sorry, sis. Hannah. Kachia Hannah. All right, we're going to Hannah. This is the last part of the name. Where can you get a pre-approval without affecting your credit?
A housing counseling agency, because we pull the soft pulls. The difference between a soft pull and a hard pull is that a lot of time lenders utilize our services so that the credit doesn't affect your credit score. So when we pull the soft pull, we have a mortgage soft pull that we pull as a HUD agency. We go over your credit, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, all three bureaus. So it's a soft pull you won't pull before you get to the lender. So once they pull the hard pull, you already have an idea where you're at. And we don't want to utilize the systems that's already in place. Most folks have on their phones. They utilize the scoring system. Use a HUD agency, use their system. They're pulling the HUD report for the mortgages, and it's much different than it is sometimes with you using your services that you offer from the other ones, like the ones that you offer, like from Capital One and different credit cards, Credit Karma, all of those. They're good to start with, but buying a home is a different kind of scoring system.
This is great information. I'm so happy you guys are sending these questions because there's somebody out there right now like, dang, I ain't think to ask that. So please keep some of those questions in. Michael said, if you find a lender that will pre-approve you, will you still be eligible for OFA assistance?
I don't mind off saying that because I do the OFA counseling. And I would say, yes, when you go on the OFA website, I'm sure when OFA talks about it, if you go on their website, they have a whole skew of lenders that are on that approved list. When you go on the website, look for the lender. They'll show you the approved list of those lenders that do and accept all the OFA assistance for down payment.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. So our next question comes from Michael Crenshaw. If you find a lender that will pre-approve you, did you just say that? Let me go on to Stacy. Okay, this time I'm over here like doubling back. Now, Stacy says, what's better, buying or renting to own?
Well, we can all probably chime in, but let me first start by saying, when you say better versus worse, I always tell people the question really is what's better for you and versus what's better for the next person. And there are various forms of rent to own. There's installment land contracts. There are various processes that kind of prepare a person to get ready for home ownership. The way I look at it is you have to start somewhere. And when you're working with NID, for example, a HUD counseling agency, they can sit down and help you identify where you are. Maybe you can't buy today, but that doesn't mean tomorrow, next year, a year from now, 6 months from now won't be a different story. So if there's a situation or a program that you have to utilize in the meantime, that's not always a bad thing. So I think the question is more, what's the best situation for you? But you can only answer that once you know where you are. Where are you in terms of credit? And a lot of people go by what other people say. Well, they said I couldn't do this. Really take advantage of organizations such as NID, because they'll sit down with you and really help you determine where you are. And when you're talking about those things, though, whether they're rent to own, installment land contractors, personal agreements between buyers and sellers, please just be very careful, because I can tell you, being on the title side of the business, there are so many scams out there and so much shadiness. And I've seen people get burned by trying to do a transaction on Craigslist. So whatever you're going to do, I would say, number one, really find out where you stand. And then number two, go to a counselor that can help you figure out what's right for you for now.
All right. Thank you so much, Monique. We appreciate that. And thank you, Stacy. So the next question, and I know this is a lot of information. Shout out to everybody who's over there taking notes or just mentally saving it, but it is a lot. And I know a lot of people are wanting to take this information further from today's event. So ladies, I know we're going to have your contact information probably up on screen, but real quick, just for Brandy Rawls, if you could just maybe provide like a phone number just so they can contact after to get some more information.
Well, for Debbie or I, you all can definitely reach us through the Greater Cleveland Realtors Association. And if you send it to our general email, which is info, I-N-F-O, at Cleveland Realtist. So that's CLEVELAND, but Realtist is REALTIST.org. You can definitely reach Debbie and I that way. And of course, we can get you in touch with Ms. Lydia also, but she can give you information on how to get in touch with NID Housing Counseling Agency.
And mine is really quick. It's nidhousing.com. When you look on our national website, you click on the state, the city, you'll see all our information there. Whatever counseling agency from NID is closer to where you live, you'll have the opportunity to talk to a HUD-approved agency. But NID Housing Counseling, nidhousing.com is the website.
Nice.
And you can also reach us through our website. If you want to see everything that we do, you can go to www.clevelandrealtist.org and see what we're doing. And there's also a contact link on our website, or you can leave us a voicemail at 216-245-8451.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving the info out. Once again, we'll have that for you, of course, at the end. And, we'll have details up on our website about everyone who spoke today and all the links so that you can click on them right through our sites. Okay. So our next question comes from Nia Wright, and that is, are foreclosure homes better to try and buy?
Well, I'll take that one. It's sometimes I don't give out that information because we get a lot of requests. People will call us and say, do you have that foreclosure list? And we don't specifically have a list of just homes that are foreclosed on. So I would say that at this point, that is not an option because of the COVID-19, the whole thing going on with that. There are less foreclosures going on, and people are starting to come out of the whole pandemic, and we might see more foreclosures coming up now. But as far as homes being better to try and buy, just contact your real estate agent, sit down with your pre-approval, and find out what is best for you to go forward to try to purchase at this time.
Thank you, Nia. Thank you, Deborah. All right, so Tasha Smith is watching. Thank you so much, Tasha. She said, would you contact a homeowners program first before actually starting to look at a house?
Absolutely. First, when you deal with the housing agency, we sit you down one-on-one, know what your credit score is, know what it looks like. It doesn't cost you anything to go to a HUD agency. It's free of charge. So when you go there, find out what your debt to income ratio is, look what your credit score is, then you have an idea what you can qualify for. But it doesn't stop there. Get the education, understanding why you're buying a home. It's just not a process. It's a lifeline. A home is your whole life. So you want to make sure you baby step this process so you'll understand it. So before you look at houses, take care of your business first. Look at your credit, know where you're at, know what you qualify for, get the education. Then the fun part will be looking for a house and getting the pre-approval, of course.
Right. Thank you, Lydia. Uh-oh, you muted, Bijou. There she goes.
Terrell Spices, our next question. How long does the certificate last if you've taken the class?
It lasts for 1 year from the date that you've been given that service. So, but even if you got the certificate and you're 6-7 months down the line, still get the education. Times change, real estate markets change, situations change. And as you know, within the last 30 days, the rates have changed. So you want to stay abreast of what's happening, but it lasts for 1 year from the date of issue.
Nice. All right. Well, it looks like questions may have slowed down. We'll give it a couple more seconds, but just wanted to reiterate a couple of things. One, thank you guys so much for tapping in. We had John, we had Derek, we had these lovely ladies here. We got Lydia, Deborah, and Monique. If there's questions that you have after you're like, dang, I forgot to ask that, please make sure you reach out to them. Like Bijou said, we will have their information, their sites, all of that on our pages, on our websites. So please share, please make sure you follow up with that information. And like Lydia said, do your research, get your stuff in order. So when it's time, and she's right, like that looking for a home, like that's the fun part, but you can't even get to that point if you haven't lined everything up. So take your time with it, don't rush it. Home ownership is so beautiful, but it's a journey. So use these people, use these resources that we provided for you tonight to make sure that your process is as smooth as possible. And
So I think we have a couple more questions. I'm in the comment section, and shout out to Keisha. She told me I was close to getting her name right earlier. It was Keisha.
I thought it was Keisha too. I said that's a unique way. I like that, Keisha.
Keisha, okay, thanks for getting me right. All right. So our next question, Tanisha says, "What information would I need to bring with me if I came into an NID office?"
Okay, the information that you'll need is we'll have you fill out an intake, and we give you a list of documents. We want your last 2 years your last 2 years W-2s. If you're self-employed, 3 years 1099. We would like to see 60 days of bank statement. Yes, I scrub your list. So all of those nice little stores you've been shopping at, we're going to work through you with that. So your 60 days bank statements, your pay stubs, and then just like to see your last 2 years tax returns if self-employed 3. That's a start. The rest goes on from our 101 and what do we need to do next. We put an action plan with you. You walk away with something in your hand to know what do I need to do to be mortgage ready. So that's the time we spent to do that, but that's a good start.
Awesome. Jonathan says, what is the process of assisting a veteran with his or her VA loan?
So I can probably start and you guys can probably step in. So with the VA loan, when you're working with veterans, first of all, you want to make sure that you have your DD-214 available. Sometimes it's hard to get that. If you don't have that, you may want to start going down to the VA office downtown to get that DD-214. Once you've done that, again, when you're meeting with a counselor, you're going over that process. The pre-approval, you want to find a lender, again, when you're shopping around, that will work with VAs, that would do the veteran loans, that would accept the DD-214. So it's not a difficult process. It's the same as home ownership, but you're taking the same exact steps, getting pre-approved, seeing when you're at. But that DD-214 is really important. So I don't know if you ladies wanted to add to that or...
And there are certain lenders who really specialize in working with veterans. And what I mean by that is they specialize in knowing all of the programs. I can tell you that within the last year, helped with my brother who was a veteran, and the programs that are available are really advantageous. I'm talking in terms of no money down, being able to work with low or to, very, very, very conducive interest rates. So make sure you have what is necessary to prove, obviously, that you are a veteran, but make sure you shop around for lenders who have experience because you don't want to leave anything on the table. And there are some really good programs out there for veterans.
And to chime in on that as well, in your interview process, when you are interviewing real estate agents, you might want to mention that in your questions, because working with a veteran, there are certain nuances about a VA loan that an experienced real estate agent will be able to help
Cool. Thank you. Hey, Rita. Rita said, is now a good time to purchase a home?
Well, Rita knows she can't ask these ladies on this call that question. So I'll start, and I can promise you, Lydia and Deb will definitely have something to say. So we're going to tell you that it is always a good time to explore the option of buying a house. Now, whether or not situationally you are ready, that will be something for Lydia and her group to sit down and help you. And I know, we all know that interest rates are rising, but I just want to say that although interest rates are creeping up, I'm not going to tell you what the interest rate was when I bought my first house. And we just came off historically unprecedented, never probably to be seen again interest rates. So, even though interest rates are increasing, rates are still very competitive. And it is always a good time to buy, because beyond that, we know that, homeowners, when we talk about statistics, the net worth of a homeowner is greater than that of someone who rents. And we know that there are tons of advantages to owning a home. What I will tell you, and I'm sure I'll let Debbie pick it up from here, it is a challenging time in terms of inventory right now. So it may not be easy, but it is definitely always a good time to explore whether the time is right for you. But Debbie can tell you more about this inventory, because that's what she does.
Yes, that is true. While it is a challenge with inventory, that's not to say that you cannot find the perfect home for you. You still, once you get your pre-approval, and once you have your real estate agent, you all can partner together. And this is something that you can do it. Please believe that you can do it. And this is always a good time. This is spring. There are people that are starting to think that, okay, maybe I want to move on to the next thing. There are homes coming on the market. So don't think that this is a time not to buy a home. Just always consider, just try, just come get a real estate agent and get out here and start the process.
Okay, all right. So as you hear, don't wait just because we're going up. It's really, you say, Monique, it's way better than it was, even though the rates are going up. Still a good time to get in there. Okay. Now, this is from Deetra. She says, are NACA and Divvy good programs? Anybody?
Well, I'll say this, because I think someone earlier did ask questions, and they were alluding to the same thing about, rent to own programs, third-party assistance programs, and things that can help you. And there are definitely, again, all of us here today are proponents of home ownership, and we are definitely advocates for increasing Black home ownership. And we also recognize that there are different ways to get to the goal, right? So there are programs out there. What I said earlier and I'll say is, sit down with someone from NID and help figure out what's the best process for you. Is it Divvy? Is it NACA? Sometimes your home counselor may sit down with you and go over your finances and say, you know what, we need a 6 months plan to reduce your debt. We need to deal with all these, cash apps and all these purchases. And, when Lydia says she's going to scrub your bank statements. So I think the general answer to that is yes, there are good programs out there. And we understand that there's, different ways to skin the cat. Sit down with someone to figure out what is best for you. And there may be an intermediate program that ties you over for a year or two, or they may be able to say, hey, you know what? Give me 6 months, I can work with you. Or, I'm coming out of a bankruptcy. So, we're going to take, 18 months and we're going to work with you. So yes, there are good programs out there. I always say what's best for you.
Thank you, Monique. And thank you, Deetra. Hey, Victor. Victor said, what if your credit is A1, but you're new to your job?
So your credit and your job are two separate things. When you're dealing with credit, that's with NID. But when you're dealing with income in your job, the best thing to do is when you're talking to your loan officer, they can determine if, as far as qualifying, because some new jobs, as long as you're in the same field, that carries over the same way. We understand that jobs are new. Some lenders are okay with accepting if you have a new job, even if it's not in the same field. So I would say once we sit down and go over all of that, we can search through and we can scrub out loan officers and what their processes are, because they do it differently depending on who you're going to be getting your loan from. But the credit part, that's good that you're A1. I like that. That's a good start.
And a lot of lenders too will look at not if you're just new to your job per se, but as Lydia alluded to, whether or not you've been consistently employed somewhere. So shopping around and getting the different lenders' perspective is good on that. But continual employment is always good. And then it doesn't impact you as much as maybe you switch from one job to another or one career, when you can show a longstanding employment history and income history.
Awesome. All right. Good to hear that. All right. So Ella Dawson says, should you shop companies for your mortgage?
Absolutely. So the best thing to do is when you talk to a loan officer, you know what your credit score is. So you want to shop around, but you don't want to have them pull your score. That's a totally different process, because pulling your score is a hard pull, but you want to shop around for the rates, for the down payment programs, to see what they have to offer, the terms and conditions. So I would say absolutely shop around for companies for your mortgage, but just do not have them pull credit until you're ready to make a decision.
Thank you, Ella. All right. So, and I know we're answering a lot of questions right now. Thank you guys so much for staying tuned in. Do not forget, you have to be present to win. We have that sectional coming up. So stick around, soak in all this good knowledge. Shout out to Carolyn. Carolyn said, why is there always a great difference with the 3 credit bureaus scoring process?
Yep. So the credit bureaus, you got to remember, these are mechanical engines. They drive off of creditors. So not all creditors report to all 3 bureaus. That's why it's important that we have all 3 pulled. And when the loan officer goes to qualify you, they're looking at the middle score. So again, the creditors, they can choose. Example, Macy's may say, hey, I'm only going to pull Equifax and Experian, but not TransUnion. That affects your scoring. So the scoring system is going to be different depending on what the creditors pull and who they're pulling from. So that's the best way to know. Well, that's why you really want to know your middle score.
All right. Thanks for that one. So our next question is from Nicole Stanberry. And she says, if your income is limited to disability and one other source, is it possible to get approved for a mortgage with your credit being in the 700s?
I think we all can say yes, absolutely. Disability, SSI, Social Security, any of those types of forms of set income is considered income. And the banks do utilize those income, even if you have, certain things like child support that's coming in, if it's residual. Those type of things are very important that we need to know about. Anything that comes in your household, let your real estate or NID housing counselors know that, because we can at least vet that out to assure that the lender will provide that or allow that qualification. But yes, if it's a disability, yes.
Cool. Thank you. Renee, what's up? She said, are we able to research the info concerning the characteristics of your house on our own before we bring it to the buying table? And if so, do you have any suggestions on where we can start to look?
So I'm not sure if she's talking about researching the title on your own when she says characteristics. And there is, obviously, everything is public information, so you can look, but I really wouldn't spend too much time focusing on that. Let the professionals who are in that space take that task for you. Of course, you can look on your own. You can attempt to search the title on your own because it's public information. But again, researching that information is one aspect. Analyzing it is another. Quick example, you may research something and say, oh my gosh, it came up. The property I was really interested in has a $10,000 lien on it. An expert may look at that and say, yes, but that lien is lapsed, or it's not valid, or it's void, or it's unenforceable. So I wouldn't, going through this process, get caught up too much in those things, and let us who are paid to do that take care of that for you. But most information as it relates to real estate property and real estate on prior transactions are public record. Just be careful in taking on that responsibility.
All right, good answer to that one. Okay, so did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No,
Anyone?
I was just going to say that is correct. Let the professionals do our job, and even though you may want to do it on your own, yes, let us ask us first any concerns you may have, and we can explain everything to you.
Okay, great. Thank you. So J Sale says, what should your credit score be when buying a house?
So when you're dealing with credit scoring, and what that should be on a housing counseling side, we always start to look at the 620 credit score for different products and services. But you have to understand the banking industry, it's like every single bank have their own internal criteria. Some may say a 620 will work. Some says a 680, some a 660. So again, we try to go the highest. That's a start, but we want to go as high as you can be. So there's no true credit score criteria. If you really want to go deeper into research, FHA and HUD says that as long as a person has a 590, they can buy. But you have to also understand that the regulations that the banking industry are in, that the 620s and up is where they start. It's internal processes that the banking industry are putting set aside for credit criterias. So we say 620, but you want to go as high. 680 gets you into the door to quite a bit of services. We really want to get you that high, but again, it depends on the person's situation.
Nice. Thank you, Lydia. Thank you, Jay, for your question. Our very last question, and again, this is so much information, so do not be discouraged if your question doesn't get answered tonight. Just use this as motivation to reach out to these women tonight, the gentlemen earlier, and get those questions asked. Meet them, get this process started, because we want you in a home like this year. 2022 is your year to be a home buyer. We're going to claim it, all right? So our very last question before we give away at sectional is from Yvonne Williamson. Do you work with seniors?
For NID, we say yes. We work with seniors. Doesn't matter what your age group is, your ethnicity. We work with everyone. As long as you have a breath in your body, we're going to work with you and get you mortgage ready. So absolutely yes.
And that goes from our side as well. Yes, we work with seniors. We work with it. As long as you're over 18 and you can sign a contract. Yes.
I hear that.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for answering these questions. And please look at these websites that are going across the bottom of the screen for the CRA website, the Cleveland Realtors Association, also the NID website. You can get even more details there and also contact information for everyone that you're looking at on this screen so that you can get more of your questions answered. Shout out to you, Victor. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you,
Victor.
To everyone who has been tuned in. All right, Ro, we're not done. We still got to give away that sectional.
Yes, I want to see it. So whoever wins it, can you send us, tag us in the photo? But I just want to see it, okay? And again, thank you guys so much. Me and Bijou cannot thank you guys for really tapping in. This is great information. These are the type of things that I know we like to do, because this is free knowledge, at a better life for yourself and your family and your loved ones. So whatever we can do to aid in that, we are here. And to aid in that further, we're going to give away somebody this sectional. So drum roll, without knocking from laptop, it's going out to Karen Robinson. Congratulations. You got that sectional, girl. And remember to tag us in the photo, because I want to see it.
We definitely want to see this sectional. Okay. Once again, thank you all so much great information shared this evening, to everybody in the comments, to all of your interaction with each other, because you all were actually answering each other's questions, speaking to each other. This has just been a great community experience for everybody who was on this home buying journey. We just thank you so much for joining us today. Please share. This information does not expire. This is usable information today, tomorrow, and forever. Okay. So make sure that you click the links on our websites, send it off, get the info to your friends, your family, whoever could use it, because like we were talking about earlier, even though they're saying interest rates are rising, they're still better than they were last year. Okay. So that means jump on it while you can. All right. You can get in the game and get your home that you are dreaming of. All right. And information at the bottom. We have more websites scrolling across. Get all that info.
Yes, absolutely. Write it down. Take notes. Again, thank you guys so much. Thank you, everybody who participated in our presentations. Facebook, WZAK's website, Z1079's website, Praise, everything, okay? If it's Radio 1 affiliated, we got you with this information. So again, thank you guys so much. Congratulations now in advance on you becoming a first-time homeowner and buyer. because I see in your future. So let's make it happen.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
I think that's all we have for you tonight. You can get back to your families and whatever else you got going on.
Dinner.
And we want, right. We know we always think about food. So we're going to we will see you at our next event, our next EmpowerONE event. Have a blessed and safe rest of your evening. We will see you all next time.
Good night.
Good luck to you home.